We are back at 8:11 with a very special guest. So earlier this year, the family of legendary and beloved actor Bruce Willis announced that he had been diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia. It's a devastating condition that robs many of their ability to speak or communicate. And at the moment, there is no treatment and there is no cure. So in honor of World FTD Awareness Week, Bruce's wife, Emma Heming Willis, has made a decision, and she has become an advocate for all patients and families struggling with FTD to bring awareness to the disease and the urgent need for research. And she joins us now, along with Susan Dickinson. She's the CEO of the Association for Frontotemporal Degeneration. Emma, Susan, good morning. First of all, thank you for coming. I know this was not an easy decision, and it's out of your comfort zone, but we are here together right now. Just let me start off by asking, how are you and how is Bruce doing?
You know, what I'm learning is that dementia is hard. It's hard on the person diagnosed. It's also hard on the family. And that is no different for Bruce or myself or our girls. And when they say that this is a family disease, it really is.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting. You guys do have young kids, and kind of introducing what is happening to their father must not be a simple thing. How did you go about that process?
You know, I think it's always been, we're a very honest and open household. And, you know, the most important thing was to be able for us to say what the disease was, explain what it is, because when you know what the disease is from a medical standpoint, it sort of all makes sense. So it was important that we let them know what it is, because, you know, I don't want there to be any stigma or shame attached to their dad's diagnosis or for any form of dementia.
Well, that's what's interesting, because I think when I was first reading about FTD, I was like, what is that? I mean, you think it's like Alzheimer's, where you lose memory. That is not at all what it is. You lose language function and other functions of your body. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. It affects, it can affect movement, it can affect speech. And what's the other one, Susan?
Behaviors, personality, and what we call executive functioning.
And this is something that is often misdiagnosed because, I guess it's because there's not enough awareness among the medical community about it. So what are people often diagnosed with, Susan, when they produce the symptoms?
Yeah, so it's one of the most confusing parts because it is less common. Most doctors aren't familiar with it. So it can take almost 4 years for people to get diagnosed on average. And as you say, they accrue many misdiagnoses along the way. Often depression, bipolar disease, Alzheimer's, or even somebody with some of the movement symptoms Emma was mentioning, maybe even Parkinson's or ALS. So
how do people present when they have this, Susan?
What we're really talking about, Hoda, is unexplained changes in how a person it is in the world. So somebody who's normally speaks absolutely fine has trouble putting their thoughts into meaningful sentences, or they may lose the meaning of a specific word. We're talking about maybe a person who always managed the family's finances, all of a sudden has trouble balancing a checkbook, or has problems at work. Somebody who always performed well is either making poor decisions or just isn't completing tasks.
And you can see how that could tiptoe in as something that's like an everyday whoops, and then suddenly you start adding up. Emma, how was it to come to terms with this diagnosis for you?
I think it was the blessing and the curse, you know, to sort of finally understand what was happening so that I can be into the acceptance of what is. It doesn't make it any less painful, but just being in the acceptance is, and just being in the know of what is happening to Bruce just makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah. Does he know what's going on? Is that something that he is aware of?
Hard to know. It's hard to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, what we know is obviously the disease can start in the frontal or the temporal lobes, like the name signifies. And one of the things that the frontal lobe controls is self-insight. So we really don't know. Some people, it's the first thing they lose is any understanding that they themselves have changed. And other people retain that for a long time.
Yeah. You don't call it a caretaker. That's one of the first things I noticed. What do you call it?
Care partner.
A care partner, because he is your partner.
He is my partner.
Yeah.
He's my partner, so I am his care partner.
Yeah, I think that there are a lot of care partners out there who are watching, who are caring for loved ones with different kinds of diseases and ailments. And how have you been able to navigate those waters? It's not, you need gas in the tank, obviously, to do what you're doing.
Yeah, you really do. I think as a care partner, it's so important to be able to ask for help and support. And, you know, you can look to organizations like the AFTD, like Hilarity for Charity, who, you know, it's a sort of a great starting point. And, you know, it's important for care partners to look after themselves so that they can be the best care partner for the person that they're caring for.
When I think about your family, I see like beautiful children and your husband. Are you still, are there ways that you celebrate joy in your family, and how do you do that?
I mean, we celebrate, there's so many beautiful things happening in our lives. It's just really important for me to look up from the grief and the sadness so that I can see what is happening around us. And, you know, Bruce would really want us to be in the joy of what is. He would really want that for me and our family.
And he's a healer too. Like, I would imagine you being here is something that he would be cheering on.
Yeah, him and our girls who are watching. I've got the whole family watching. They're rooting me on. I'm here to, like I said, raise awareness, but to also make them proud.
I know one of the things people are wondering, like, how do you know if you have this? Is this something that is passed on genetically?
So it can be. In about 20 to 25% of people, there is a genetic mutation. And as you imply, Hoda, we see that pattern from grandparent to parent to child. But in the majority of people, it's what we call sporadic. We do not know yet what causes the condition, which is one of the challenges.
Emma, what do you think Bruce is teaching your girls now?
Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, he is the gift that keeps on giving. Love, patience, resilience, so much. And he's teaching me and our whole, I mean, you know, for me to be out here doing this is not my comfort zone, but like, this is the power of Bruce.
I've heard from people who have an ailing family member, and I remember this from a friend of mine. She said, my husband's diagnosis made my kids better people, just better people. Is that what you're noticing with yours?
That is what I'm noticing. I'm noticing that, listen, I think my kids would be great no matter what, and this is not what I would want for them, but really, like I said, it's teaching them so much and how to care and love, and it's a beautiful thing amongst the sadness.
Yeah. Well, you said they're cheering you on. I can feel them right now. You did a great job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you.
Susan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll be back right after this. Thank you.